Hello Varlets. In this archetype showcase, we are taking a look at the Hunter in Remnant 2. Lethal at any distance, the Hunter brings sheer damage to the table and is often found in any DPS build for their bonuses to range damage, crit chance, and weak spot hits. In this video, we'll be going over its skills and perks, how the archetype performs in-game, and where this archetype can fit in your arsenal. The Hunter's playstyle revolves around its prime perk, Dead to Rights. Whenever you deal a sufficient amount of range weak spot damage, you increase the duration of your active skills and can even exceed its base duration with enough weak spot damage. However, there's actually an upper limit to how long you can keep this buff active. After extending your abilities past a certain duration, each weak spot hit starts to give you less and less time back, eventually stopping altogether before your skill finally goes on cooldown. Leveling up the Hunter reduces the amount of damage you need to increase the timer of your abilities and increases the amount of time added every time Dead to Right procs. Looking at the Hunter's arsenal of skills, we start out with Hunter's Mark, where you cast an aura that automatically marks all enemies within a huge 35-meter radius, outlining them and allowing you and your allies to see them through walls. Marking an enemy increases you and your allies' critical chance against them by 15%. In addition, Hunter's Mark also grants you a 15% increase to both ranged and melee damage. Both the mark and damage buff last for 25 seconds. This is an incredible skill that not only provides a damage boost to you, but the ability to highlight enemies and be aware of their positioning is incredibly helpful at making better choices when it comes to your engagements. Our next ability is Hunter's Focus. Once activated, continuously aiming down sights uninterrupted without firing for 1 second causes you to become focused. While focused, your weapon spread, recoil, and sway is reduced by 75%, and you gain a 25% boost to range and range weak spot damage, as well as a 10% additional critical chance. Additionally, enemies that you look at while focused also become marked, increasing your critical chance against them. One more thing, Hunter's Focus lasts for 20 seconds at base, but the focus state can last up to 10 seconds after the skill duration expires as long as you hold your ADS down. Something to note, as long as you never let go of the ADS button after getting focused, even when you are reloading or swapping weapons, you won't lose the focus state. This allows you to pump out some good damage if you're left undisturbed and excels at engagements where you don't need to do a whole lot of dodging or aren't the target of aggression. Finally, we have Hunter's Shroud, where you become shrouded or stealthed for 15 seconds. While shrouded, enemies will find it harder to detect and hit you. However, using mods, skills, or attacking causes you to instantly exit your shroud. Upon exiting your shroud, you mark all enemies within a 10-meter radius and gain an ambush buff for 2 seconds, increasing your ranged and melee damage by 50%, which diminishes over its duration. As long as the skill is active, you will automatically enter your shroud again after 1.15 seconds if no offensive actions are taken. This ability has some amazing synergy for certain playstyles and weapons that can maximize the damage buff or effectively take advantage between reshrouding times. A good example of this involves using bows or the Widowmaker. What really makes a Hunter so lethal is in no small part thanks to its perks. With Deadeye, the Hunter gains a substantial boost of up to 40% to its range damage, a 15% weak spot damage increase, and a 5% range critical chance. This perk alone can really improve the range firepower of any build the Hunter is a part of. Return to Sender is the Hunter's team perk, and it doubles the ammo drop rate and ammo value by up to 50% from weak spot and critical hit kills. Measured shots with a little luck here and there means you and your team will never be short on ammo in battle. Once you've secured a kill, Urgency gives the Hunter a momentary 15% buff to both their reload and movement speed, allowing them to reposition themselves or reload and re-engage quickly. Lastly, the Hunter's Relic perk is Intuition. Using a relic allows you to extend the duration of any of your Hunter skills by up to 10 seconds. However, every time you extend your skill this way, the effect degrades and becomes less potent. This perk makes it so you can afford yourself a breather to heal and recompose yourself or reposition without losing your skills. Weak spot kills against marked enemies also increases the speed of your next relic use within 15 seconds by 5%. This stacks up to 10 times. With a kit built to deal devastating damage, the Hunter's archetype trait, Longshot, solidifies itself as the class that has the best reach, allowing you to deal full damage up to 6 meters further than other classes can. Now you might be thinking, 6 meters doesn't seem like a very drastic difference, but let me say this, it can make a big difference depending on the weapon you are using. Take the Enigma for example. This is its base range, and this is what it looks like when a maxed out Hunter uses it. The Hunter is designed to output damage and hit them where it hurts the most. To make the most out of the Hunter's prime perk, weak spot hits will be the name of the game. And when it comes to dealing with weak spots, Zania's Malice is a must-have. Just for landing weak spot hits, you improve your weak spot damage further by up to 30% for 7 seconds. For a Hunter, this is basically free damage. If you are feeling like a right sniper yourself, you can double down on dealing weak spot damage by taking the Ring of Flawed Beauty. This ring adds a 25% weak spot damage to your attacks, but in return, your non-weak spot hits or body shots suffer a 15% damage penalty. When paired with your skills and marking enemies, Hunters innately have a pretty high crit chance. To make the most out of your crits, taking Probability Chord allows you to deal 30% more critical damage. As for your amulet, there are many different ways you can go, depending on the build path you've chosen. But if I had to mention one, I personally like taking Full Moon Circlet for general gameplay and if I don't have any particular build I'm leaning towards. This amulet gives you 20% range damage when you're at full health, but if you aren't, you get a 3% lifesteal of your base damage to help you get there. The lifesteal aspect of this amulet also provides something the Hunter is missing from its kit: sustainability. As far as trait goes, Footwork is a really helpful trait to have as it lets you avoid projectiles by strafing without having to break your aim. This is especially useful if you are using Hunter's Focus. Handling is not necessary, but is certainly a fun trait to have. Having at least 6 points into handling while using Hunter's Focus allows your weapon to be pinpoint accurate with next to no recoil or sway. This makes weapons like the Bone Saw and other recoil-heavy weapons have laser-like accuracy. With the kit we've just discussed, it's no wonder that the Hunter is prominent in nearly all DPS builds in Remnant 2. The high damage buffs and scaling of the Archetype makes it both a forgiving archetype to start with, since you can deal with threats effectively, but also one that scales with and rewards your ability to aim with precision. While the Hunter has stellar damage, it is also one of the squishiest archetypes available, with nothing that helps them in terms of sustainability or survivability. That being said, striking unseen and from a distance is often your best defense. Can't get hit if everything is dead before they know it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Varlets.